I am a person of two worlds, a product of the East and the West. My father came from a white Australian background. My mother was from Thailand. My mixed ancestry has resulted in me having a diverse cultural upbringing. I have dual citizenship in Australia and Thailand. I have travelled to Thailand extensively. When I was younger, I would travel to Thailand annually with my parents. My mother's family owns multiple businesses, farms, and properties in Thailand. I experienced cross-cultural encounters based on my ancestry and upbringing because I was constantly exposed to many different cultures at any given moment. I was exposed to Asian cultures at home and when I traveled overseas. I was exposed to Western culture at home also. I was born and raised in the Burdekin, a very diverse cultural environment. People of many different ethnicities are present in the Burdekin. The Burdekin is a locale composed of many different cultures, but primarily a Western-based society and community. For the last 2 years, I have lived on college here at JCU at George Roberts Hall, and there are a lot of Australians from Victoria to Western Australia here. Still, there are also a lot of internationals from all different parts of the world, from America to India, China, and Japan. I've daily interact with all these different cultures and races and ethnicities daily. There are many cultural risks that businesses encounter relating to international marketing. A cultural risk refers to the potential for a company's operations in a country to struggle because of differences in language, customs, norms, and customer preferences. In China, there are many risks associated with the economic powerhouse. In China, business deals are executed slowly and politely, compared to the West, where a deal is expected to be completed quickly. In China, emphasis is placed on relationships, politeness, and trust. Chinese businesses will and business people seek to develop long-term relationships and build networks rather than just negotiating contracts. The cultural risk evident here is when a Westerner goes to business meetings in China and acts in the same manner they would in the West, when they should adjust their style to adopt the nature of Chinese cultures. So instead of being blunt and fast in developing business deals, the Westerner should take the time to be slow and methodical, to learn and build a relationship with the Chinese. In the Chinese business context, relationships are a form of social capital owned by the business people and associated with the companies they run. Ming-Jie Chen explains in Inside Chinese Business. Whereas, in the West, a successful business person is spoken of as wealthy. In the Chinese context, he or she is described as well-connected. To overcome the business style differences can be overcome by the Western parties researching Chinese customs to be polite to the Chinese. Language is a cultural risk in China. With the population of 1.4 billion, 955 million in China speak Mandarin. Cantonese is another Chinese variant more commonly associated with the ancient Chinese language and southern China. There are around 60 million Cantonese speakers in China. There are many variations in the Chinese dialect. There is a considerable difference in tones and speech manners between North and South China. The language risk can be overcome by business employee translators who are accustomed to the language differences in China. Family values are central in Chinese families. As per Ming-Jie Chen's book Inside Chinese Business, family values are central to Chinese culture. Ming-Jie Chen states that for Chinese living outside the People's Republic of China, the family-based business model is strong. In mainland China, the family-based model of business diminished as communist rulers attempted to replace family loyalty with loyalty to the party. It also relates to the nature of the disparity between North and Southern Chinese groups. It is paramount for Western companies to understand the emphasis placed on family values by Chinese companies. The cultural risk can be overcome through research and respect placed upon the Chinese. The cultural risks businesses encounter when seeking to do business in China are that the business making method is slow, polite, and trust-focused. A language barrier is also evident. Another cultural risk is the emphasis on family values in China. Business making process can be overcome by heavily researching Chinese etiquette and business making process. Translators overcome the language barrier. Family values can also be overcome through research and respect.